Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can create that own little destruction just like the video you just watched. Two versions of Blender. One is Blender 3 and another is Blender 2.79 build. So this is not the ordinary Blender version, it's actually just built for the destruction, and the only thing that it contains is this build fracture. You can just download this and get started. So I'll just create a new folder. So in this destruction folder we will need several files. So the first file that we need is a house model. So it looks like a really simple model, just 1.8 megabyte file named as 7zip, which will help us extract this house model file. It looks like a really simple file. We will just delete the unnecessary parts. One thing is important, that we must join every part. So Ctrl J and join it all into one solid piece. And then we will click on copy objects, Blender 2.79 build. Here we will Ctrl V and boom, we have a house model. What we need to do is we will need to add in a mesh plane. We'll scale it to the size and we will give it a bit of thickness. Just go into this house model, come here in the physics settings, and after that we will just go into the fracture and fractured of fire. So just come here and choose fast bisect plus fill. It's really simple one with no much error, and you can see that happening. Yeah. So the thing we need to do here is we will just make this count a bit higher, maybe like 1000, and we will see the results. So I again redid the explosion, the destruction, because the previous one just crashed with no reason. So it's just a simple plane, the house. In the house settings we have just the fast bisect plus fill with a shard count of about 300. We can turn this up to 500 and just click on execute frame, and after a while we got the thing. It's a bit laggy right now, but it's fine. So we can see an absolute destruction here. Stick play and we can see the destruction being occurred. So there are a lot of options. We have already choose the fracture settings. It's just the preset, and there are some other things as well. It's just the random seed. We can just choose any of them, but every time we change anything on this setting we will need to click on execute fracture. It's gonna be a bit different now, and boom, but it's falling out of the plane, so we'll make it bigger, and now it's fine. The friction is really bad, so it's just slipping away, so we just need to go under this collision, increase the friction to 1. We can also type in values such as 5, which is really high, and now it will be a bit more stable in this part. So we have changed the friction value, and other settings are not important for the floor plane, but for the house we need to look at more settings. Constraints are a big part. They essentially determine how things are being connected to each other. It's not just random parting. Under the scene, go into the rigid body cache and select the amount of frame and calculate bake all dynamics. So it will bake everything at once. It's going to take a while depending upon your computer speed. So after the baking is done, just select everything, go to file, and then export data. So there are a couple of options. Most of them will work just fine. But however, for most of these sort of explosions and destruction sort of file, it's best to choose Alembic. It's the most standard and probably one of the best export setting. We'll need that face sets, and we will not touch any other things. We don't have any sort of here in this, so here particle system isn't necessary. UVs are needed, but not the normals. click on export Alembic, and now this time we'll import Alembic. I have saved it here and just click on import. But we have a problem here, and that is the house just doesn't look great. So in order to fix that, just go on to this object data properties and go on to the normal auto smooth objects. But we have a file that just works perfectly. So this is how you create a simple house destruction in Blender. We used a separate Blender build, and here we have it.